33 years I worked in the school system. And I was head of the union for 30 years. So I know what I'm talking about.
So we're here today to support not only the members that have allegations of discrimination, harassment, right? We also want to make sure that the needs of children are put forth first and foremost above all. And what happens in that newspaper should not have happened. And that's very serious, because if you're willing to make a headline of the girl that cried black, then we must be concerned of what if a child makes a complaint in a school that's African American, that's Hispanic. So what are we going to do with their concerns? Are we going to dismiss and minimize that child's concern? And that can only happen if we work together. So at this time, we'll be going upstairs shortly, but I wanted to have Miss Chiquita, you got to work with me here. If you can say some words about, what's been happening in Norwalk, and then we also have a parent. I know you had an issue here as well, so we want to make sure that, we're listening to the consumers. I'm here to support you. But we must be very clear. We should not ever negotiate the well-being of our children. We need to be very firm. We need to be very clear. If he doesn't want to respect the diversity of all children, then he doesn't need to be the chair. There is no gray area there, and there is no negotiations there. And the only way that to happen is if we stand up for our children. So yes, if you can, yep.
And we think what the time is, it's time out for politics. A lot of politics has been played in the lives of community and the lives of children. The political venue or vendettas that people have that go back and forth through generations has a large effect on whether our kids have the ability to move forward or not. We need individuals to get out of their political realms and focus on the policies, the regulations, and the issues, which are we properly preparing our children and getting them ready to move forward to be the future leaders that we have called them to be. This is not a day of playing Russian roulette on the lives of children. This is the day of making sure that we all have an opportunity to work together, have our voices heard, but most importantly, make sure that our children are educated. Make sure that they're in position to compete against all the other nations and communities that are out there. Making sure that they're prepared for the jobs. Making sure that they can come back and be visual within their community so that they can build their communities. They can work within their communities. They can develop their communities. But most importantly, that they can be the ones that are being the leaders to lead community forward. So at this time, I'm going to point to Diedre Davis, who is the Honorable Housing Commissioner, who is going to say a few words about leading our community so that we can move our children forward.
Okay, well, as you said, I'm Diedre Davis, Commissioner of Norwalk Housing Authority, and there is a need right now for people to stop playing politics with our children, listen to the needs of the children and the families, and stop pushing them aside. And we need to have more people that's going to come out and stand up and speak on behalf of that, because a lot of people will not, because they're afraid of maybe losing their housing or, maybe something coming back to them. They don't need to be afraid of coming to speak out, especially when we have realms like this for support. So, I'm going to be there. I'm going to stand. I'm going to do what I can as a commissioner to make sure that all people's needs are met.
I saw your attorney here that they filed the complaint with. Is Attorney Crossland here? Okay, good. Okay. We'll make sure you're covered. All right. So is there anyone else? Because we're about to go upstairs. I want to make sure we can sign in to have our voice heard. And then we need to think about next steps. So if you can reach out.
I definitely want to say something. I just would like to say that I come to all the board meetings. I'm very involved in Norwalk. And I think that we need to be able to hold Norwalk accountable for making sure that our children are being taught, that they are welcomed into the school, that all parents are welcome into the school as well, because these are very hard issues here in Norwalk that are not being dealt with. And if the board has the nerve to say what it says to another board member, you can only imagine what it's doing to the family and the children. And this has to stop. And the accountability, whether if we have to go to the governor's office or whatever legislative it has to be taken to, it needs to be done. So everybody needs to stop playing politics, because those that are involved, the children come first. And if you're not here fighting for the kids, then, you know, you have other issues to fight for, but our children come first. If they are not being taught properly and the people are not welcoming them into the school system here in Norwalk, that's a problem that has to be dealt with. People should not have to remove their children from the school system because that's how unwelcome they are.
So I thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, the attorney, he's over there.